What's going on, everyone? I am back again with another video. Now, the message I have today, well, before I get into the message, I'd like to say, if you could take a little time to like the video and subscribe. Just a little click to subscribe, and another small click to turn on your notification. That way, when I post videos, you can get notified as soon as they post. And the liking of the video, it just helps the video gets into the algorithm. But like I was about to say, have another video, and this video is a continuation of the video I did maybe a week or two ago. I know the morning of, it was like, I think July the 22nd. Yeah, that was a Monday morning. I had a dream. God gave me a dream. And in that dream, there were resources like food, medical supplies, toiletries, everyday household things that you would need, anything you would need for a day-to-day basis to live at home. Everything was kind of scarce, and there was a bit, well, I wouldn't even say a bit, it was chaos outside. Like going outside to get supplies or going to the grocery store, it was going to be a hard thing to do. But I pretty much went over everything in that video. I think the title of it was Prepare for a Season of Lean. Well, God gave me another dream a couple nights ago. What's today? Today would be, I'm recording this on Friday, so he gave me that dream on Tuesday morning. Yeah, that was Tuesday morning he gave me that dream. So, Tuesday, Friday, today's Friday, August the 2nd. So he gave me that video Tuesday, the 30th of July. Sorry about that. I had to pause the video, take a break away. My son woke up and he was looking for me, so I had to get him back in bed. But like I was saying, Tuesday morning, the 30th of July, I had this dream. And when I woke up from it, God explained everything to me and what it meant, and I just started writing. I took out my pen, took out my notepad, and I just started writing. So, like I said, in this dream, it was kind of a continuation of the dream I had on, what day was that? The 22nd of July. And in this dream, God was pretty much breaking down the specifics and what I would need to do and what and how I need to prepare and get through this this season that's coming up, this season of lean. So I'll start off by telling the dream and what happened in the dream. So in the dream, I was in a kitchen. It was like this big industrial kitchen, like a cafeteria style kitchen that's designed to feed a large number of people. And I was preparing food, one dish after another. And I was preparing large portions, like large serving sizes. Well, not even serving size, large quantities. I was preparing large quantities of food of each dish. Then after I prepared each dish, I put them in like these. If you ever worked in a hotel or if you ever worked in a hotel kitchen or a cafeteria kitchen and put them in these hotel pans, these large hotel pans, that's what I was putting the food in. And after I put each dish in a hotel pan, I put them in these food warmers. Like there were 4 different food warmers, and I would prepare a dish, fill it fill a hotel pan with it, put it in the food warmer, and I kept doing that until the food warmer was filled. Then I would move on to the next food warmer, and it just went on, so on and so on, until I fill all 4 food warmers up. And then after I had filled the warmers with food, and this wasn't just, I should have said this first. I should have explained it. I wasn't just filling them with food, like expensive food or extravagant food. I was preparing like inexpensive food that you can buy at a reasonable price and get a lot of things like beans, rice, some vegetables, dehydrated foods, things of that nature, things that could last a long time. So I was filling the warmers up with those types of food. Then I began to put prepared meat inside of my chef's coat in the dream. So after I fill each warmer up in the dream, I don't know, the meat just, it was a round, something like a round roast, or maybe like a pork shoulder, something of that nature. I couldn't make, it wasn't very specific. I just know there was a big chunk of meat in my dream, and I had my chef's jacket on, and I opened my chef's jacket on and put the meat down inside my jacket. Then another piece of meat appeared out of nowhere. I just put that inside my jacket too. So after I put the meat inside my chef's coat, next I transitioned to a part of the dream where I had an assistant that was working with me, and he was handing me the pans of hotel food. The hotel pans full of food that I had prepared and he was handing them to me from the warmer. But once the warmer that we were taking the food from was empty, the assistant vanished. Then there was a pan of food present before me with things that looked good to eat. Like they look like sweets and desserts and all kinds of treats. It's just a hotel pan full of treats, and everything looked good to eat. But once I got close enough to the pan, I saw what looked like the food turned into like undesirable food that looked gross, and it wasn't even food. Once I looked at it further, it was like the food had turned into like bugs and worms and slugs and things of that nature. If you can just imagine a pan full of nothing but bugs, worms, slugs, things like that, creeping and crawling things. So I didn't take that pan of food into my storage. I kind of pushed it away, turned away from it. So after that, I woke up. And I woke up from the dream. So then, this is when God started speaking to me and started explaining the dream to me. God said that the 4 food warmers represents 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall, or autumn, as some people refer to fall. And that I needed to stock up my pantry and storage for each season specifically. So, and what do you mean by that? When I stock up my pantry and storage, when I'm stocking up for the winter season, I need to be stocking up with foods that will be able to last, or I need to be preparing or growing food that will be able to survive during the winter months. And then spring, he said, I would need to be planning and preparing foods that are readily available and good to grow during the spring. And for the summer as well, grow foods or prepare foods or stock up on foods that are plentiful for the summer or in the summer. and so on and so on, and go into autumn, go into fall. Prepare and stock up on foods that are good for the autumn. So then God went on to explain to me the part of the dream where I was taking the meat and putting it into my chef's coat. God said the meat being put inside my chef's coat was representative of only taking as much meat as I can use for one meal, or for that one day. He said if I prepared meat, there were to be no leftovers. And when he said that, the word waste. I just kept saying the word waste. He said no leftovers. If there were leftovers, it would be waste. He said only prepare enough for that day if you're preparing meat. And the scripture he gave me for that was Exodus chapter 16, verses 4 and verses 20. And I'm going to grab my Bible and I'm going to read that to you all right quick. The book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 4 says, Then the Lord said unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. Then go over to verse 20. It says, Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Moses was wroth with them. So God said, the preparing of the meat and cooking meat, he was like, the meat that he provides for you, or that he allows for you to have during that time period, he said, have enough for that day, because anything left over is going to be like in Exodus, it's going to go bad, it's going to rot. He just kept giving me this feeling of showing me that there's not going to be good storage, or there's not going to be a way to store meat long term when its season comes. And when I say season, I'm not talking about just one season. When I say season, I mean a time period. This is going to be a time period where this is happening. And I take it as it's going to be at least a year, because God told me to prepare for 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. So that covers a whole year right there. At least 4 seasons. There are 4 seasons in a year. So if we're preparing for 4 seasons, it's going to be at least a year, or somewhere close. So he gave me that little tidbit when I was thinking to myself, and I was kind of thinking like, well, how long is this going to have to go? Then he just told me it's going to be 4 seasons in a year. So at least prepare like you're going to be doing this for at least a year. Let me pick back up where I was. Okay. Then he said the part of the dream with the assistant that was helping me. He said the assistant that I had at the food warmer was representative of someone being sent into my life to help out in each season. But once that season was over, so would that person's role in my life be as well. God said, do not try to take them into the next season, because it will cause the next season to fail. And when he was telling me this, he just kept saying the person that he's going to send to help you during each season is going to be someone close. And he said it's going to be hard to leave them in that season where they help you in, because it's someone close, and you're going to want to take them with you. But he said, do not try to take them with you into the next season, because they will cause that next season to fail. But he said he will provide someone during each season, so you don't have to worry about having someone that's going to be helping you through the seasons, because he will provide someone. Just don't try to take that person into the next season. They're not meant to go into the next season with you. And the scripture he gave me when he was explaining that portion of the dream to me was the book of Ecclesiastes, verses chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. And if I can find that, Ecclesiastes 3, verses 1 through 8, it says, "To everything there's a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get, and a time to lose. A time to keep, and a time to cast away. A time to rent, and a time to sow. A time to keep silence, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time of war, and a time of peace." So when he gave me that, he was basically telling me that there was going to be a time and a place for each person that he sent to help you. But once their time was over with, that's it. Their time was over. It's time to move on to the next season. There will be somebody else there in the next season to help you. God said the pan of, then he said, he went on to describe the pan of undesirable food. The pan of food that looked good, like sweet treats and desserts and all that. He went on to explain that God said the pan of undesirable food that once looked desirable represents the temptation and sin that you have overcome in your walk with him. He said that will be brought back into your life in these times, but they won't be as hard for you to resist now because you see them for the disgusting things that they are. So he said that pan, it represented the temptations and sins that you've overcome. He said, in your walk with him, you've overcome them things. And when you first encountered them, they looked good. They were sweet, and they looked like treats. But you overcame them, and now you see them for what they really are. They're really disgusting. They're disgusting things. They're bad for you. They're not good for you in any way, shape, or form. And that's what the pan of slugs and worms, and bugs, and all that is. The slugs, worms, bugs, those are the sins and temptations that you've overcome in your walk with God. And God said they're going to be easier to resist now and easier to overcome. Easier to resist and easy to turn away from because you've overcome them already. But he said, for some, it's going to be hard for them to resist those things in this time period because this is going to be a tough time period. And a lot of people are going to think that he's abandoned them or he's turned away from us. And once they start to feel that he's turned away from us and that he's abandoned us, they're going to fall back into their comfort zone. And a lot of them were comfortable in their sins, and they were comfortable in their temptations. But he said, do not be one of those people, because it's going to be harder for you to come out of those sins and temptations if you fall back into them during this time period. And he said, during this time period, you don't want to fall back into those sins. He said, you don't want to fall back into those old sins and those old temptations, because judgment is not going to be too far away. And he said it's going to be harder to come out of those sins, and you don't want to be stuck in those sins when judgment comes. So let me see, where was I? Okay, yeah. God says if you simply resist them and remain walking on the path that he set forward for you, that you will overcome them. And the scripture he gave me for that was the book of James, chapter 4, verse 6 and 7. And let me find it. The book of James, chapter 4, verse 6 and 7. it states, but he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. He says, submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So God said, if you just remain on the path that he's chosen for you, and that he's laid out for you, if you submit yourself to him, and he said, and if you just resist the temptation, resist the devil, and flee from, he will flee from you. He said those temptations will flee from you, because he said it's not going to be like when you first encounter those sins and temptations, and you try to resist them, and you tried to turn away from them, but they kept persisting in your life. He said, now that you've overcome them, when you resist them now, they will go away immediately. But he said, if you even entertain them a little bit, they will stick around. And the longer they stick around, the more they stick around, it'll be more tempting and look more desirable to turn back to them. And that's it. That was all of the dream and there was all of the explanation he gave me for the dream. So God said, in this time period, this time frame is coming soon. He said, but he's giving me this message to give to his people so they can have enough time to prepare. He said, if you start preparing now, you have more than enough time to be ready and prepare when this season starts, when this time period starts. So take heed to the message, take heed to the warning, and start to prepare for you, and start to prepare for your family, and try to get past this message and get this message to those around you so they can prepare too. Not everyone will take heed to the message. God already told me not everyone will take heed to the message. But he said, my job isn't to make sure they take heed to the message. My job is to deliver the message. And once I've done that, I've done my duty. I've done my diligence. So this is me doing my diligence. This is me caring about my fellow Christian, not just my fellow Christian. I care about everyone. And I hope that everyone would be saved and hope that everyone would give their life to God and walk with God. But I know it's not going to happen, but that still doesn't stop me from hoping. So I hope you all get this message, and I hope you all take heed to it, and I hope you all are saved and walking with God. And until the next time, I'll see you later.